Right, so quick update. In the spirit of embracing the spirit world, my powers, whatever it is, I don't know. But in the spirit of not running away, not being scared by what's going on in the house, I actually went and had my first ever psychic reading, which is something that I said I'd never do. I didn't see why people wanted to know what was going to happen. I thought there was a lot of frauds out there, and I don't know. But I had a psychic reading, and actually it was very general. So it was actually bang on. He talks a lot about there's a big transition, and you're being given loads of signs, and how many more do you need, and all this kind of thing. And he actually picked up, he said, you're very intuitive and you've got this kind of, sense of being able to pick stuff up and things like that. But I'm fairly sure I could, if I got my sister, my mum, and my best friend to listen to it, they could probably relate to it in some way as well. So I wasn't sure. I did have a bit of a weird thing where he talked about, because he was saying that there was a lady there. It always seems to be this woman that I think is my dad's gran that was giving him all this advice. And then he said there's also a gentleman here as well. And so that was new. And actually, I think that was my uncle. And he talks about a few things that were quite specific to my uncle. Talks about him smoking, and he said that when we smell smoke, but no one's smoking near us, and that's him saying hi. And I spoke to my auntie, and actually, apparently, that's something that they talked about quite a lot when my uncle had passed away. About because he was a heavy smoker, and they used to smell the smoke, and no one would be smoking. They thought it was nice that it was a little him saying hello basically. But this same uncle had actually had a dream about a few years ago, like after he passed away, a really sweet dream about him watching over my auntie. And I spoke to my auntie and I told her the dream, and actually it turns out it was their wedding anniversary. I remember being quite moved by that. But when I actually told this psychic, because I hadn't told him anything of what was going on, I was really going to work out what directions go in, and actually I've just decided to explore a few different avenues. But I told him about this dream that I'd had, and I had this kind of shooting pain, like kind of just like around like the bottom of my rib cage, and or just below. I can't remember exactly where it was, but the psychic was like that could be a body response because my uncle had drinking issues, alcohol problems with alcohol, so it could be like your liver making making pain. So it's just kind of the acknowledgement. So it could, So I was like, maybe. I also got very cold afterwards, briefly, and he said again, it could just be that it's cold in here. It could potentially be that if a spirit leans too close or leans in close to communicate with you, they go into your aura and it can make you cold. So it's interesting. So kind of on that, I was like, he seemed very sweet and actually very sincere, and I actually really liked him. I had a very good sense about him. The reading was, although it was bang on, like I said, it was very general. So my head was like, is this the real deal or not? But actually, I think he is the real deal. So I ended up telling him what has happened. And actually, we had a big conversation about it. He was very reassuring, said about everything being positive, and just talking about what I can do to stop it being so full on and everything. But actually, he has very kindly offered to help me get to meet up he's a few times, to give me some help on how to manage it, because he said it is quite full on. Like, for so much to happen in 2 weeks is quite unusual, I think. So he said it sounds like you needed a slap in the face over and over, to the point where I just couldn't deny that there was something there. So I kind of get that. So he said I think he could see that I was quite freaked out by it. So he's actually helping me. So I've seen him once since then, and that was really interesting. He's given me some great techniques on. He basically said that I'm so open that the spirit, like my door's just wide open, so spirits are just coming in and bothering me basically. So he's like, you just need to be able to rein that in and open it when you're on your terms. He said it's two-way street. They want to talk to you, brilliant. You don't want to necessarily talk to them every hour of every day. So he's just helping me with that. So that was kind of week one. I'm seeing him again later this week, so that's going to be quite good. But it's just nice to be able to ask loads of questions and to have answers, and for someone to kind of not tell me that I'm reading too much into stuff. So that was really great. I feel much better. So I'm shifting now from kind of running away from this, being scared of this, to actually kind of facing it and trying to be positive about it, trying to be embracing of it. But we'll see. Again, I'm just like exploring a lot of things that I never thought I'd do, like the psychic being one of them. I also had a tarot card reading, and it was actually the message was pretty much identical to the psychic, about being, it was interesting actually, because I told her, because the difference with the tarot thing is I told her what the issue was or what was going on. And then she does the card thing and as they turn over, she kind of talks to you about what the message is. But it was exactly the same. It was all about being in transition, and I've got basically a new life ahead of me. And she said, how you've got to where you've got has got, your approach, I guess, has served you well. You're, successful, you're, fairly normal and all that kind of thing. But it's going to be different now. She talks about you have your physical body, your head, your emotion, like your intellect, your emotions, and your spiritual side. And she said you've been living a half life. So now that you're awakening to the spiritual side, you will be much happier and that kind of thing. And actually, I think she's right. I do think she's right. I feel very different in myself, and I feel like life is kind of, because she gave me a lot of grounding stuff as well, and she said exactly the same thing in terms of how to stop being scared of it and letting it rule my life. But I feel like this stuff's starting to return to normal, but I now am just aware of another layer. So yeah, it's going well. But again, she was fabulous, and actually I felt very, because she's a mum of 4, and I felt very looked after, but she's just very maternal, and she's just lovely, and I really have a lot of time for her. And how she did the reading was very nicely done, like, because some of it was a bit like, I can imagine it would have been hard to hear, but actually she's so sweet that, because she said about, because I can be quite blunt, and she said prickly. There was a card that she said that, this is someone that you've been up until now, you can be quite prickly. And actually I think it's a good way of describing me, how I can be. So yeah, she was just, very nice. And yeah, so it went really well. And I went back, and I, similarly with her, she actually does, I went about the tarot reading, but she does shamanic workshops, I think it's called, where like you go, I still don't know much about the shaman or shamanic side of things, but she to the shamanic cards, or I'm probably got the wrong terminology, but when she did the tarot card reading, there's a big deck, 2 cards apparently is shamanic stuff, or suggest shamanic like stuff, and they both came up. And actually I said that I'd been quite drawn to it. I said I don't even know anything about it, but I feel really drawn to it because I know I've come across it, skirted over it, and I actually feel quite drawn to it. And it turns out she does these workshops. So she's actually she said we did a one-on-one, because she said kind of knowing nothing about anything spiritually and then go to this workshop was quite a big jump. So we're going to do a couple of one-on-one sessions, and seeing, depending on how things go, I'll actually join her workshop. But it's all fruity. It's like she's got her drum that she's banging, she's chanting, it's just crazy. And we're at the caravan in her garden with burning incense. It's just insane, but actually it felt very comfortable, and actually it was good fun. And and we did a few kind of meditation exercises which went really well. One of them I was like, I just couldn't do it at all, because it was still when I was really scared about everything, and I was she talks about walking through a forest, but I couldn't visualize all the trees were in my face. I couldn't take a step back, and I think it was just too much for me. And actually she said it was, you can see that I've got boundaries and stuff. So, but it's good. It was really good fun. I really enjoyed them. I had nightmares that night actually, because I enjoyed the session when I was there. I felt very safe, and then I walked away and I was like, I don't know how to control this. And panicked a little bit, and I had quite a horrible nightmare that night. But I had then seen the psychic guy afterwards, and he's given me some great stuff, so that's really helped. So I'm seeing the Maddie, her name is the tarot lady, today. So I wanted to do a quick post because I've actually recorded this a couple of times. Both times they've just disappeared. So like the video clip. So yeah, so third time's a charm. If this doesn't take, then it's not meant to be. But I thought I'd have a quick go, see if I could record, and then I'll keep you posted how I get on with Maddie tonight. But I can keep it short and sweet in cases because they're slightly longer clips. And I will keep you posted as to how everything else is getting on.